place in San Francisco are some sort of natural process that we can't do anything about by public policy is really absurd and flies in the face of the entire system of planning and zoning that we have in place.
I think what happened is that money, the real estate money in San Francisco, determined Willie Brown would be a good mayor to forward their interests.
Politicians are bought and sold by the contributions that come their way.
They got Willie Brown elected, and Willie Brown appointed a lot of real estate industry people to the commissions that are supposed to be governing land use in San Francisco. The result is that we have the highest valued real estate in the nation.
What we're trying to do is have some accountability with the Planning Commission, make sure that the community is part of a larger planning process, make sure that more low-income people are not displaced, because the number of low-income people who have been displaced recently is outrageous.
Good evening, President Amiano, members of the board, Dan Kingsley, SKS Investments project sponsor. This is the existing building at Bryant Square, which at its peak is about 45 feet in height. We have spent the past 2 years working with the city and numerous community groups to create a mixed-use development that is appropriate for the Northeast Mission.
I've waited around and watched as small businesses of people of color and Latino families, they're all being kicked out.
Displacement clearly was a significant issue. And again, the Commission weighed both sides and felt in the end that the merits of the proposal were primarily because of the benefits that, in their opinion, outweighed the displacement.
That project really brought us together. It really got us savvy to sort of the tactics that developers and lobbyists use.
My name is Dan Crespin. I'm with Grubb & Ellis Real Estate Services here in San Francisco, and I've been a member of the real estate community for over 20 years. We call ourselves an enlightened city. Well, this is an enlightened company that's providing homes for businesses. That's what they do. They provide homes for businesses.
We are also providing 3,000 square feet of subsidized space to the Digital Mission Collaborative to work on the digital divide, as well as 3,000 square feet for artists to have a limited equity co-op for their studios.
You throw a little crumbs, throw a little something over here, and you know, folks are gonna sell out. Folks are looking out for their immediate needs, and they're like, oh, you're gonna give us a little space in your office project? Great.
With this in mind, we urge you to support the SKS project. It is something new. A partnership between nonprofit organizations and a real estate developer to the advantage of our endangered arts community.
The vast majority of Mission residents were unable to attend this meeting because of the short notice, because of the time, and because most of them are working hard to support their families and are not part of this quote-unquote economic boom that is supposedly sweeping San Francisco.
The Mission District has been subject to the enormous economic change and economic forces that are being brought on this city, and clearly the Mission District is just one neighborhood that is experiencing this change, and this is what we're really dealing with here, is change.
We have a roll call.
On item number 23, Supervisor Amiano?
No.
Amiano, no. Supervisor Becerril? Becerril, aye. Supervisor Bierman? Bierman, no. Supervisor Brown? Brown, aye. Supervisor Katz? Katz, aye. Supervisor Kaufman? Kaufman, aye. Supervisor Leno? Leno, no. Supervisor Newsom? Newsom, aye. Supervisor Tang? Tang, aye. Supervisor Yaki? Yaki, aye. Supervisor Yee? Yee, aye. 8 ayes, 3 noes.
All right, the motion is adopted.
You saw, that part of the administration basically deregulating its controls, and that's exactly what the critique of globalization is, for instance. They're just dropping all the regulations and controls that they want to put on the market. And it's sort of a free reign of capital.
Because it's not just about the dot-coms. It's a bigger problem. It's a more general problem. It's a long existing problem.
Mad respect to the Mexicas, to the Mayans, to the Aztecs, to the Onondagas. You bet you don't even know who was the people who inhabited the Mission Creek. Why you think it's called a mission? Why you think it's called a mission?
In 1776, more than 170 years ago, white men discovered the bay, erected a mission, and started huge backcountry ranches.
There was a saying, westward the course of empire takes its way, that empire had been continually moving west from the Mediterranean through northern Europe to across the Atlantic, and finally it had reached the far west, facing the Pacific. And what was the great city on the west coast going to be? It was going to be San Francisco.
This vibrant metropolis was planned by pioneers who foresaw the important role this city would play in international trade.
We tend to be sort of the financial capital of the West.
This has always been a financial center. It's always been a service center. It's always been a customer relation center. That's why we have so many hotel rooms, so many restaurants, so many bars, so many places of entertainment, because that's been a part of what the economy of this city has been about.
So what we are seeing is the devolution of blue-collar industrial jobs that were relatively high-paying, helping families stay together, helping people keep roofs over their own head. More people are getting jobs working in restaurants, being busboys, being janitors, being street sweepers, but they can't afford to live here as those wages are not up to the cost of living in San Francisco.
And whenever there's these high-tech booms and there's a lot of high-tech workers coming to certain areas, what it does then is creates a market for luxury housing. It's happening all over. It's happening in Chicago, it's happening in New York, it's happening in all the major cities in the United States and basically across the world.
Do you know anything about this building? Or
I don't know the history of this, but this is going on all around San Francisco. They're going to put probably lofts or some kind of .com or something
downtown
back in here.
Offices.
There's something in this out here, especially in the Mission. They're going everywhere. It's good for industry. Mm-hmm. The jobs are here. It creates jobs. I'm going for construction.
When you look at San Francisco, it's only 49 square miles. When these housing developments was built, most of them was built in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. But at that time, the property value in San Francisco was around the national norm. Now you're looking at property value in San Francisco within public